We're in this lovely big back garden of one of our blocks of flats. It's just a beautiful place. It's a lovely sunny day. Now we've come here today to do a video on something called Envirovent. Now for those landlords that are out there and tenants that are struggling with black mould issues in really old properties that don't really have very good ventilation, then we've started to install Envirovent systems, which eradicates the black mould, makes it a nice fresh place to be, and we pay for all of the electric as well, so it doesn't cost the tenants anything. So we're having one installed this morning, so I thought we'd come along this morning and show you what it's all about. Right, so this flat's got its own little patio doors. So the main entrance to the flat is around the other side of the building, but it's got its own little patio doors here as well. So it's beautiful on a day like today. What more would you want? Right, so we're back in this flat today, and we've been in here for a couple of videos now because we're going through a refurb process. So what we're going to do is this little unit here is the Envirovent limited unit, and we're going to put it up in the corner there. So it's out the way. The electrics are ready. We've had the electrics put in, so we've got a spare there for the electrics, and it's just going to plug into there, and it's a silent running machine as well. So the engineer's here. We're going to have a chat with him when he comes back in. I'm going to find out a little bit more about how it works and what it does, etc. Okay, so Chris.
Good morning.
How you doing? All right.
Yeah.
So we're here to put an Envirovent. Is that right?
Well, what it is, it's a wall-mounted positive input ventilation unit.
Oh, positive input so
ventilation.
PIV.
That's it. Yeah. So it's manufactured by Envirovent. So from a quality perspective, it's all British made in Harrogate.
Yeah.
And basically, what the unit does, it takes a feed of fresh air from outside, so constant supply of fresh air. It's all about getting a volume of air into a property without having to open windows.
Right.
So what this unit does is it pulls a constant volume of fresh air through the unit. Yep. It runs it over a filter to stop things like bugs and nasties coming in. Yep. And then it forces it under pressure into the flat. What that does is it uses a scientific principle which is called dilution, dispersal and replacement. So what it does is by pushing the air in, like having windows and doors open, it starts to dilute the air. The air becomes cleaner and fresher. It then displaces any contaminants in the air. So it will drive down humidity. It'll help to force out things like moisture, smells, all that kind of thing. And then it replaces the air in the property with this constant supply of fresh air. So in effect, under normal circumstances, one of these in a flat this size would probably replenish the quantity of air inside the flat probably once a day. Wow. So every day you get a complete brand new set of fresh air coming through the flat.
So that does eradicate all the black mould issues that you get?
What it does, because black mould is... Now what happens with... There's various issues that we get in properties in the UK. One of which is we suffer with high humidity because we're not very well ventilated.
Yeah, especially in old buildings.
That's right. Yeah. And we're not exactly what you would call very well insulated in a lot of cases either. So what happens is, in the summertime, when it's a beautiful day like today, as air temperature rises, indoor relative humidity will naturally fall because it's temperature driven. In the wintertime, when suddenly the air temperature starts to fall, the relative humidity starts to rise. And if you have poor ventilation in a property or not very good extraction in a bathroom or something like that, what happens is that moisture hangs around in the air. Now to you and I, it's invisible. You can't see it. If it was a green cloud, you'd know what was happening, but it's not, it's invisible. So what happens is, eventually, and it normally happens overnight, as air temperatures fall, relative humidity rises. As soon as you hit a 70% indoor relative humidity breakpoint, the air in your home or the air in a property can't hold the water as a gas anymore. Right. Turns back to a liquid, leaps on a cold surface. So that's why you see condensation on windows, see condensation on tiles.
It then turns into black mould.
And then what happens is if you get 80% relative humidity at the surface for more than 6 hours, black mould will start to grow.
Oh, okay.
If you have a propensity for high humidity, what you've got, as soon as mould spores take root, because they're just mushrooms, and you carry them in on your clothes, on your shoes, you can't get rid of them. But basically, once they take root, If you've got a high humidity problem, you've just got your own little mould garden going on.
Right.
You're just watering it over and over again, and that's why it keeps growing.
This flat particularly suffered a lot from moisture.
Okay.
Because, well, I don't. Obviously, it's the walls aren't very well insulated because it's old. I don't know whether the female tenant that was in here before was airing the property. But I came in and literally, you can open the cupboards and all of the cardboard boxes were sodden. It was that bad.
Nasty.
So is this going to get rid of that?
This will go a long, long way to eradicating that.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Now, what about temperature, Chris? So does it make the air colder?
No, right. If you look at the unit, I'm not sure if you can see. Yeah, you can see it in here. So one of the issues with air from outside is that when it's -2 outside, the air temperature is -2.
Yeah.
And what you don't want is that picked up, sped up, and pushed in, because that will come in then at about 1 degree centigrade, freezing cold.
Yeah.
If you look down inside, just down in there, you'll see there's a little heater element.
Right.
So what the unit does...
Quite a big heater element, actually.
Yeah, well, in here, there's what's called a thermistor. So what it does is it permanently senses the temperature of the air flowing through the unit.
Right.
If the air temperature flowing through it drops below 10%, it pulses the heater element.
Okay.
So it won't run the heat element all the time, and the air doesn't feel hot. But what it does what's called tempering. So it just tempers the air.
Right.
But the other
and that's
thing,
automatic?
Yeah, it's automatic. So you don't have to do anything with that.
Right.
And what it will do then, so tempered air will move around the flat a lot better. It will also help the heating to be a little bit more efficient.
Right.
Because what happens with a radiator, heated air, is it rises up and goes across the ceiling.
Yeah.
And what these units do is, because the air is always moving inside a flat or inside a property, what that does is it carries the warm air around. And a lot of our customers turn down their heating by 10% and don't even notice a difference. Yeah.
So tell me then, so one unit like this, so this is like the unit you can put in flats without any roof space, because there's loads of different ones, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
So this is perfect. We've had one of these installed in one of the other flats as well, haven't we? So with this, how will it help in a room that's got a closed door into the door next door?
The best way to illustrate it is with I don't know if there's any glasses or anything here.
Probably not in here.
Just like a gel cleaner, yeah, that'll do. Right, let's run some cold water into there. Right, so that water has got all suds all on the top.
Yeah.
So imagine that's the contaminated air inside the property.
Yeah.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to run a constant supply of fresh air in. What it will do is it will take away, it's diluting and replacing, and eventually the water will just run clear.
Right. But how does that get through the walls?
It doesn't go through the walls.
So it's the air that's actually in
That's it, yeah. So what it does is it fills the place up with air, and then it gets everywhere, because no room is perfectly sealed.
Sure.
So it will go under a fire
door. And when people open the doors.
That's it, yeah.
Okay. So one unit like that, how big a flat could you service?
You could probably, with one of these, you could do a 3-bedroom apartment.
Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And you don't need any loft space?
No. If with the loft-based unit that Envirovent manufacture, that will do up to a 6-bedroom house.
Wow.
Concept is exactly the same, but what it's doing is, instead of taking air from outside, because you've got no loft, we've got no loose air we can use here.
Right.
In a house, what it does is it pulls fresh air through the loft. So it freshens the loft, then it runs that fresh air through a filter and pushes it again into the house constantly. But it does all this from a central location on the landing.
Because I've seen those, because when I was researching these, I'm like, well, can we even get one? Because we don't have loft space.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we got in touch and you came out. And did you install the one next door?
Yes, the one went in
there. Because that's a white one. We've got a black one here. Or is it?
No, this is a white.
Right, okay.
Because once it's finished...
Oh, you put the casing over it.
It has all the cover over.
I gotcha. So, Chris, how much are we paying for these?
These are $995 plus VAT.
$995 plus VAT. Is that including fitting?
Yeah, that's including fitting.
Right, so $995 plus VAT, including fitting. That is an absolute bargain, because if you can save yourself just one void a year, then it's going to pay for itself.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's going to give the tenants a much nicer place to live and a much nicer environment.
From a landlord's perspective as well, when it's running, I could probably illustrate this on the other one, to be fair.
Well, I think there's a tenant in there.
Right, you've got control over, it's got 4 speeds, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's a little button here. Now, a lot of the time what will happen is tenants might have a problem come back, or They might suddenly get a new mould problem. It does happen.
Yeah.
What we find sometimes has happened is that tenants are finding clever ways of turning them off.
Okay.
Because they think they're using loads of electricity or they're
Yeah.
making them cold.
Yeah.
There's a little button there. You press that button, you get a little readout of the running hours.
Right.
So 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's a quick calculation.
And you can
and
see
that
if
will
they're turning
flash
them
through
off.
and tell you how many
Is there an
hours it's been
override
run.
so you can't turn them off?
There is. We fit them with a few spur like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then what you can do as a landlord, they come with a front panel.
To just put it over the top.
And what you can do as a landlord is you can
Yeah.
seal that on
So can
from
we make sure we
inside.
got? I think we're missing that panel on that.
Yeah,
one.
I know. I've given one
Yeah.
to
Kay.
to Kay. Yeah.
So in terms of running costs, now just for everyone that's watching this video, this is going back to my supply. So the landlord supply, so I'm paying for this, so it doesn't cost the tenant anything. So we don't want to incentivise them to turn it off.
No.
So we want them to have a nice,
Yeah.
a nice environment, a nice clean, fresh air. So we don't worry about paying for the bills. But for those people that are going to charge the tenants, how much would it cost to run?
Right. They cost about the same as a 100-watt bulb for 12 months. So it
Really?
used to be about £60 a year.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, that's going to be
yeah.
probably
Yeah.
double that now.
Probably yes.
Right.
So I work with a lot of landlords, and I've got some landlords where they install these, and what they say is, look, Mr. Tenant, it's 10 quid off your rent.
Yeah.
Pay for it.
Yeah.
Because not everybody can do like a landlord
And then
supply.
they learn to switch it off, so they're going to get £10 off
Yeah.
the rent, and they're not going to have any
I
electricity.
know, that's the proviso, but then we seal them from
But
behind.
I'm guessing, this flat now is actually quite clean.
Yeah.
It's getting decorated, so there's not a lot of moisture here because we've been in and out.
Yeah.
And the girl that was here before was travelling away a lot, so it was all sealed up. So I'm guessing in 6 months' time, after this has been in, we come back and do an inspection, it will be obvious whether they've been using it or not, just from what's around them.
Absolutely, yeah, it will be obvious. Yeah.
Fantastic. These should be government backed. You should get grants for these, because
the thing is, all the way through, we had the pandemic.
Yeah.
The one thing that everybody missed the trick of was a very simple fresh air solution that would push fresh air into your home, drive away and get rid of the viral load, make it so that it's basically like you're outside, and the government could have just put them under prescription or given me £1,000 a unit.
Yeah.
It's
or said
crazy.
to every household you can have one, just to roll them out.
yeah.
I think they're a great invention.
They're a brilliant
I
idea.
don't know why I've never used them before. We've never really had a problem with black mould because we've got quite a big portfolio. So
Yeah.
we've got about 150 tenants.
Right.
But this particular property, over the last 2 or 3 years, has started to give us a few issues.
Okay.
And because it's listed and because it's so big, I know that this is just a sticking plaster. This isn't sorting out the main cause of the problem, but it is addressing it.
Oh,
the main
absolutely.
cause of the problem here probably wouldn't ever be able to be sorted out because we can't go into the walls, there's no cavity for us to be able to put any insulation.
Yes.
We can get trickle vents in the windows, but having listed buildings consent to change the windows, and it's a long, long process. That's a really good walkthrough. Thank you for that. I know we're taking about 20 minutes of your time. You've got work to do.
Yeah.
So for those people that are watching, if people want to contact you personally to find out more about this, how can they do that?
You can get me at chris@mvsservices.co.uk.
MVS, Mike Victor Sierra.
Mike Victor Sierra Services, all one road,
Yeah.
all one word, .co.uk. And you can get me on 01384 387 008.
Awesome. I'll put the details in the link into the video description. And I know that we're paying, as I say, about £1,000 for these at the moment. I'm absolutely loving the one we've got. This is the second one. What we'll do is we'll do another video in about 6 months. We'll come back. And then obviously with the tenant's consent, have a look around to see what the changes have been.
Absolutely,
and then we can do a bit of an update and a bit of a comparison. So Chris, thank you so much.
No worworries.
It's been excellent. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.